Not too long ago on the channel, at this point when I'm recording this video, I talked about Disney's remake retelling of the original The Little Mermaid animation. However, the Asylum, the Mockbuster company, said, nah, get lost. We've got the true Little Mermaid, and that's what I'm talking about today. But is it truly awful? Surprisingly, yes and no. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you for tuning into this video, whether you're new or returning. Appreciate your time checking out this video. And today we're here to talk about The Little Mermaid. Directed by Michael Johnson and starring voice cast Sonia Kruger, Courage, Alex Lizotte, Dee Wallace and Steve Guttenberg. A mermaid princess makes a bargain with a sea witch to become human. And I'm rocking my Did You See That hoodie, which you can buy from the merch store. But just to tell you a little bit more about that, just before we get into today's video, I would just want to give a quick thank you to all my awesome Patreons who really help to support the channel. If you're interested in joining Patreon yourself, the link is down below in the description box. You can also shop and buy some merch, and I would love to see you over on my Patreon, where you can access to movie reviews, adventure days, vlogs and Patreon watch parties and so much more content. Thank you for listening, really appreciate it. Now let's get on to the review. So I actually found out about this movie through looking on the Asylum's filmography, and I saw that they were doing The Little Mermaid, and I was like, what? Really? Are they doing like a live action version or what? But no, this seems as if it's kind of like AI generated animation. One thing I'm going to say right out the get-go, guys, is the poster for this movie is absolutely misleading because the characters look absolutely nothing like this poster. This is actually kind of what the characters look like, and I was just like, I was expecting kind of like an animated movie like that, but yeah, they definitely turned a blind eye. So, tell you what, a big bravo to the props of who is in charge of the marketing and poster design team at the Asylum. They always make great posters to terrible movies. So, going into some positives here, because I can't utterly say that this movie is absolutely trash, gargonzo beans, anything like that. Yes, it's bad, but there's actually some positives to be found here. So, for example, let me give you one straight away. They actually take some kind of twists and turns to the original The Little Mermaid story. And to be honest, I can completely appreciate that. Just like the Disney kind of live action remake that we've just had kind of recently as I'm recording this video once again. They take some different twists and turns to what the original tale is. Yes, this has similar plot beats. Yes, there's a lot of this that is kind of the same, but they actually do some things different. And now I'm going to go into a couple of spoilers. So, for example, we all know that Ariel has 3 days to fall in love with Prince Eric, whereas here, however, she has 1 year. That's right, 1 year to fall in love with Prince Lucas. And it's not Ariel this time, it is Soraya, Princess Mermaid Soraya, Mermaid Princess Soraya, one of the two. So yes, she has 1 year, and I was like, really? Like 1 year? Surely she's going to fall in love with him pretty quick. Surely that year, that's like way too easy. I was like, surely this is just terrible writing. But they actually turn that on their head, because Prince Lucas wants to marry a princess, and this is all with like traditions and stuff. So we've seen that stuff before. And then they introduce her to an actual princess, and the princess says to Lucas that I was the one who rescued you. So we all know the start of The Little Mermaid and what happens there. He's actually gonna marry her because he said that he will marry the person who rescued him in the first place, because Soraya can't talk. And none of this movie is actually a musical either. This is all just spoken dialogue. Yes, there is music in like the background and kind of just sound, you know, in the background there, but there's no like actual musical dialogue or anything like that by any of the characters. So again, a slight abbreviation and difference to the original tale. But the way that it turns the movie on its head with that 1 year rule, as I mentioned before, is the fact that Lucas is going to marry this princess. So if he does, that means he's not going to fall in love with Soraya. So therefore, she is going to belong to the depths of the ocean. So it is kind of similar in terms of the 3-day rule to an extent, but they actually say 1 year. So you think, wow, it's going to be easy, but they actually kind of take a little bit of a twist. So I kind of like that, I'm going to be honest. Then there's also parts here where they actually try to expand the story instead of the original movie. So for example, like King Jasper here, who's voiced by Steve Guttenberg, gets a little bit more character development. Also, Soraya's sisters, like mermaid sisters, get some more character development. We actually get some different scenes here involving the Sea Witch, who is actually called Ravina this time, who is voiced by Dee Wallace. And by the way, Dee Wallace and Steve Guttenberg do good in their voice roles. I will say the voice cast here isn't actually bad, you know, like Sonia Kruger voices Soraya, and yeah, I see the voice cast isn't bad, and we'll get into that, don't worry. But yeah, you know, as I say, they give a little bit more character development, they give us some different scenes, and they give us a little bit of a slightly different kind of story. So again, all props firstly to the Asylum for actually trying to do something different. But that's kind of where the positives end. So let's get into some of those negatives, which I'm sure you guys, if you're aware of this channel and me covering up Asylum movies, you're probably waiting for this moment, so I hope I don't disappoint. So in terms of the negatives, okay, so as I mentioned before, the voice cast actually not too bad, and I will be honest, they're actually not too bad, but the AI animation with that voice cast and design is absolutely abysmal, guys. It is truly appalling, to the point where, right, Soraya can't talk, right? So of course she can't sing, she can't talk, whatever. So you know when like Prince Lucas asking a question, be like, do you like this, do you like that, whatever. Now if you can't talk, you're not going to be like, you know, and that's what it's like in this movie. Like she's actually kind of like moving her mouth to say the words, but she can't talk, as if he's like that, and he doesn't say like, you know, he can understand that kind of thing. You just nod your head and be like, you nod your head yes, or you'd be like, no. If you don't like something, or I don't know, for example, you'd use like your body language for expressions. She doesn't do that. She literally voices out every word that is said, and then the dialogue here is what lets the voice casting down, because the dialogue is so bad. It feels as if it is kind of just, you know, when you're playing a video game, or if you've never played a video game, right? You always get parts in video games where you do side missions and you speak to kind of side characters, and they maybe tell you a little bit about lore and kind of like maybe like a little side quest and stuff you go on, and they might be like, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? You know, that kind of stuff, right? The dialogue in this movie, for a lot of the parts of it, feels almost as if it's like someone took all the side quests in video games, took that kind of dialogue, and then applied it to this movie. So for example, there's one part, right, where Prince Lucas brings Soraya in a hot chocolate, right? And he's like, I've just brought you a fresh hot chocolate. Be careful. It may be hot. And I'm just like, well, it's not called lukewarm chocolate. Not called cold chocolate. Of course it's going to be bloody hot. It's called hot chocolate for a reason, and you've just brought it in fresh. I'm just like, what is this dialogue? It is truly appalling. And then the AI animation and the way that it's been generated, it's just awful. Like the mouths don't really sync. Like when Soraya smile, she almost looks as if she is the evil sea witch herself. The sea witch Ravina, by the way, has like one grey eye and like one like just pure like kind of brown black eye, like the eye colour. I'm just like, why does she have two different eye colours right now? Like, why aren't they the same? They don't really explain the fact that maybe due to past and some of the lore, the fact that Ravina, like, you know, lost an eye colour, or she lost an eye, she's blind in one eye. They never explain that, and that would make sense why there's two different eye colours, but we're given like no explanation as the audience, so you're just left wondering, like, why was that decision made? I can't tell you guys. I still can't tell you guys. And then, man, this movie, right? So it's an hour and a half long. But what the movie does have instead is a lot of convenience, and also a lot of moments where the AI generated animation here, guys, looks as if it is from a PS2 game for the entire movie. And you think, animation like that in 2023? Seriously? That's what we're dealing with here. So ultimately, guys, I'm going to wrap this up and just say that I didn't mind the movie to an extent. There was parts where it was positive, but ultimately this wasn't great. So my overall score for The Little Mermaid, the Asylum version, is a 1 out of 5. Have you seen this movie? Does it interest you? Are you going to check it out? Leave any and all comments down below so we can continue the discussion down there. If you've enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe by pressing the red button down below so I can see you again on a future video. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.